Hey, welcome back to Effortless Ecology. I'm Sierra. Thank you so much for joining me again. And as I mentioned in our last video, right now we're talking about the level of the organism when it comes to effortless ecology and where the organism fits in and what we can do as the organism in question, based on 4 tenets. And so those 4 tenets are integrity, responsibility, honesty, and authenticity. And so today we're diving into integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching. That's what I was told when I was a kid. It's my mom likes to tell me that I won an award and I invented the word integrous. I was like, Mom, I'm integrous. Which is just a silly aside, but basically, right, like when you're a kid, like it's doing the right thing, even if no one else is. But there's another layer to integrity, which is doing what you say you're going to do, right? And so it's being in integrity, it's being in bond, in promise, with ourselves. And so with those two things kind of combined, doing the right thing as well as keeping our word, there's a couple of different directions and like realms that we can dive into, right? And so when it comes to being our word, integrity is really important. And we see in ourselves, I see in myself personally, and so I'm curious, like if y'all see this as well, like with anything, this being, around the start of a new year, it's 2026, things like New Year's resolutions or, starting a workout, quitting nicotine, quitting drinking, starting a new hobby, like things that we say that we're committed to. And what's really interesting is that there are studies that have shown like when we break promises to ourselves, that's far more detrimental than when other people break their promises to us. So when you're in integrity, right, you're building up this self-trust of belief in yourself, of knowing that you can do what you say you're going to do. When we don't do what we say we're going to do, it's actually like chipping away at our self-image, basically. It's chipping away at our self-image, at our belief in ourselves, our belief in what we are capable of and what we can do. And so it's, being in integrity and doing what you say you're going to do is more than just like, it's not a small thing, basically. Like, this is a very real concept. And so, when we break our word to ourselves, like, for example, right, going to the gym or like working out, whatever it is, we're like, I am going to start working out 3 times a week. And then, Friday of that first week comes and you have worked out 0 times. You're like, oh, I just got really busy. It's okay. What that does is just creates evidence that you can't do the thing. When in reality, like you very much can, you're choosing not to, right? And so and on the contrary, like, right, when you start a New Year's resolution to go to the gym or work out 3 times a week, and then you do it that first week, it feels fantastic. It feels so good because you're doing, like, you feel proud. It feels good. You're doing what you said you were going to do. And then it makes it easier to continue because you have that evidence stacking up that you can do this thing. And it just gets easier and easier until it becomes a habit, right? Versus breaking it, it's like, what's the point? I don't trust myself to do the things I say I'm going to do. So I'm just not going to try to do new things anymore. And so that's one level of integrity. The other level, right, or the other, version of integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching, right? And so that kind of ties in, right, to our promises to ourselves. Like when we say we're going to work out, like no one is forcing us to do that. We chose that. We said that we wanted to do this thing. And so when we do that and we're building the trust, like, right, like that works. That's doing the right thing when no one's watching because no one's holding us accountable for that. That also comes up in our relationships, right, in our community and with the rest of the world. For example, I think littering is a really great example of that. Okay. And so we know that littering of any sort, whether it be like food products that you just drop on the ground, wrappers, cans, any kind of trash, basically, that you don't want, you drop it on the ground. That's not doing the right thing, right? Like, we know that what you're supposed to do with trash is put it in a trash can or put it somewhere where it then goes to be dealt with, right? And yeah, we're not in this video, we're not going to talk about the issues with our, like landfills and everything. But the concept is like, that's the personal integrity aspect, which is, that the right thing to do is to throw away your trash. And when we choose to not do that, right? Like, what are we doing? We're breaking our bond, the social contract, the social agreement, of keeping our shared space intact, right? It's the same as like, kind of like when you trash your room or your house, right? It's like, that's when no one else is going to pick it up for you. But when you do it out there in the real world and you litter and drop trash or whatever, there might be this belief that someone else is going to take care of it. Um, and that's not being in personal integrity, which is knowing that you shouldn't do it. And that actually ties in to responsibility, personal responsibility. And you'll see that all of these concepts kind of tie into one another and almost seem like synonyms, but are similar and different in some ways. And so integrity is doing the right thing even when no one's watching, as well as being basically keeping your promises, keeping your bond, staying in your word to yourself. And so those things matter. It matters because it helps us build trust within ourselves, but it also builds trust. Integrity builds trust with others so that they can trust us. And it also creates trust in the social contract, the social agreement. And what we're seeing now is that the social agreement is collapsing in a lot of ways. So in this moment, what can you do? Like, what do you want to look at? Like, what are some, like some of your homework, I guess, from this video would be like to sit and think, like, where are some ways that I've broken promises to myself and broken promises to other people? Where am I out of integrity? Am I always late when I say I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time? Did I say I was going to start something like reading a book and I didn't finish? For the record, these are examples for myself. Okay. So you probably have examples of your own. And maybe those are two of them, but maybe working out is one of them for you, so thinking about like, what are some of those promises that you made to yourself that have broken? And what are promises or agreements that we have that make the world a better place, that are out in our environment, that are also being broken, that you also are breaking, that we are breaking, right? So just think about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So if anyone's like willing to comment, like I'd love to chat in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. I'd love to hear more. Please do like give me a comment. If you feel so inclined, please share this video. I hope that it spurs some conversation in your own groups. And thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, follow, whatever the heck people do on YouTube. And I will see you next time where we will talk a little bit more about responsibility. So thank you so much. I'm Sierra. This is Effortless Ecology, and I'll see you next time.